What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I'm never getting out of bed. Now, if you want to send a check, maybe I might put like a toe out. I could do like a toe, just like a toe piece. You know what I'm saying? Just like a toe. Um, also, I am turning into a caveman, and that is going to get increasingly worse because I am working on memorizing several sections of the Quran that are very challenging and long and difficult. And I committed to myself that I would not take a single hair off of my face again until I can recite them. So that's where that's at. I needed to put this at the beginning because the information in this video is very involved. And I need to give you dissertation and context. Also, I got a lot going on, you guys, because I was trying to color block because I'm not using my webcam. I'm using my other camera, and it's real sensitive. Just, so I need to be able to give you context. Because the Quran is a message and a miracle. A message and a miracle. And at the end of this, you will understand that that thing that you call a Bible is nothing but words on a page. And there's no message, and there's damn sure not no miracle. I want to also say that I am aware that many of you who watched the Trinity video and even commented on it, I need you to know that I'm aware you did not get to the end of that video. I'm aware. And I know this because somewhere towards the end, I got into a real silly something, and I was doing impressions. I don't know what I was doing. It got real funny, and I was cracking myself up, and I know I was cracking a lot of y'all up. Who didn't watch it? Shout out to the one sister who I know got to the end, because she said, I'm dying laughing, but I'm learning a lot. All right. So I know she got to the end. I don't remember her name because it wasn't a real name, but you know who you are, and shout out to you, sister. I love you for that. And I'm glad for you, because this information is for you. I'm here, everybody. What I'm giving to you is what I already possess. And so I'm giving it to you, Your gifts are not for you in life, no matter what they are. Doesn't matter what they are. Your gifts are not for you. Your gifts are to give and to share with others. Anyway, so a lot of you didn't watch it. And, don't play yourself, Don't play yourself, everybody. Because this life is too short to play games. And yours could be over as you're watching this video now. Your journey could be over. So don't play yourself. And definitely don't ever try and play games with me, because I am the truth. And so that's all I represent in life. So the only thing you should ever approach me with at any level about anything should always be the truth. Always. I realize that, a lot of you are having difficulty. Some people just clicking past the videos, and I'm fine with that. I expected that, because you are low attention span and you seek things that keep you in a state of agitation and that excite your senses and things like that. I've said to you many times over the course of the years I've been on this platform, start interesting yourselves in things that you're not interested in. Interest yourself in shit that you normally would not sit through, that bore you to death. because that's about building a wealth of knowledge. When you hear me speak on anything, you hear the breath of my intelligence, because I educate and continue to educate myself across spectrums of everything and anything. I'm someone who's intellectually curious anyway. If it's knowable, I just want to know it. Okay, I know that now. You see? I'm that guy when you get me into a room, doesn't matter what we're talking about, I'm the guy that can give you the depth on anything. Not because I'm just like, oh my God. It's just because I apply myself. So you need to do the same thing with this, because I know a lot of my people are into sensationalism and drama and stuff like that, and I wasted my time. 4 years of my life I wasted on you, and I realized, unbeknownst to me, a lot of you were getting entertainment out of what I was doing, just because of my God-given way that I speak and how I say things and stuff like that. Some of you were seeing me as an entertainment piece, and fuck you. I'm not here for your entertainment. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for your entertainment. And by the way, I have a very impressive background in entertainment. And this ain't it. This ain't it. You see, I know the work that I'm doing. You see, and those 4 years that I wasted, and God bless any of you who got something positive that you could use for your life out of any of that. Allahu Akbar, But that wasn't leading to action. And I'm not someone who's comfortable being a talking head. Everything I do in life must have purpose and movement to it. You see, so I'm never going to feel comfortable being anywhere, certainly on this platform, and just being a talking head. There's talking heads out there, all of whom you know, and they're happy to just put out something so they can get that YouTube check. That's what their pursuit is, that YouTube check. You see, I'm not interested. So this work that I'm doing now serves all masters for me, because it is something that is of great value. It's something where I don't have to look to the result of you actually doing something. God help us if that ever happened. The thought of it, oh my God, I need to cool down. Just thinking that is blasphemous. That my people would actually do something. The thought of that. Anyway, but this is something that I can invest myself fully in all of my authenticity and passion, and leave it alone. Leave it alone. It's in the hands of Allah. It's in the hands of Allah. But it has purpose and it has meaning. You see? I'm never going to be a talking head. I'm not here for that. Now, so you should leave this video profoundly affected and impressed upon in some way. So therefore I should see comments from you. If I don't, that means you didn't watch it. Period. Because I never saw anybody who saw a UFO and didn't tell somebody. I'd never seen it. They had to call somebody immediately. They had to do something, had to happen. Because that's an extraordinary thing they witnessed. Well, this is an extraordinary information I'm bringing you in this video that should have a profound effect upon you. So I'm eagerly expecting and excited to see what your feedback is on this piece. Because I want to know how it affected you, what you got from it. But it also Your feedback teaches me. It informs me. Jedi, you didn't do a good job of communicating that. Or you hit the mark. Or you hit the mark, but you could have went a little further. Or something, whatever. But that's going to have to come from you. That must come from you. So I expect, and like I say, the feckless amongst you, it doesn't matter if Allah revealed himself behind the veil of light to you. You still won't believe. In fact, there's a quick portion of the Quran I'd like to read you that talks about you, but also tell you why it's a comfort and a warning to me and a reminder. When thou dost recite the Quran, we put between thee and those who believe not in the hereafter a veil invisible. And the we is the royal we, when Allah says we, all right, not a crew, all right? It's the royal we, like Jedi, but I say the Jedi, and I'm not the divine by any stretch. I'm connoting a certain status there with my branding, the Jedi, and also I've seen a lot of people putting speaks on their stuff. Speaks. My folks can testify for me, and I don't have to say a word. When I came out of the gate in 2014, it was the Jedi speaks. The Jedi speaks. Sometimes in my rant videos, I'll be like, da 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 da, and the Jedi has spoken. That'd be the end of the video. Now I see a lot of people putting speaks on their stuff. Speaks. I know who the author is, and I'm honored to be honored, but just know that I'm aware of what the authentic article is. All right, let us go on. And we put coverings over their hearts and minds, lest they should understand the Quran, and deafness into their ears. When thou dost commemorate thy Lord and him alone in the Quran, they turn their backs, fleeing from the truth. That is the feckless amongst you. That's the feckless amongst you. Fleeing from the truth. Fleeing from the truth, you see. But it's also a reminder, a warning, and a comfort to me to say, Jedi, there are those. Don't get upset. Because there's many of those who hear you and they will never hear you. There's a veil over their heart. What was it? Deafness in their ears. So, I'm fine. But this video is for the living. The living, the loyal, the interested, the serious. You are the ones who I will hear from. I'll hear from you. I will hear from you. Your long comments, because there'll be a lot to say, you see. And if the energy hits me the right way, I will probably follow this up. I may. It'll depend on you. I may follow this up with a live discussion. I'd love that. But that'll have to come from you. You'll dictate whether or not that happens. I can't. It's not for me. So, message and miracle. I'm laying out for you in this video the miracle of the number 19. And I want you to know this is just a little snippet. It's like pulling one hair off of a cat. One hair. A half of a cat hair. How about that? I need you to understand this is just a snippet. Because there's so much more volume to this book along these same lines, Even scholars, scientists, mathematicians even, have examined this book back and forth just on its physical presentation. Before you get to the revelations, before you get to the prophecies, before you get to the fact that it comes from the divine, and all of that. Forget that. Throw that out for a second. Just the physical book itself has stumped, astonished, impressed many of those who have scrutinized this book in this way. It is a physical miracle and a mathematical marvel. You understand me? Testifying that no human wrote this book. Even the hand of how it's laid out is clearly from the divine, because the Quran doesn't begin with the first revelation that came down to the prophet. That's number 96. That's chapter 96. See? But yet, from beginning to end, this thing is a marvel. I marvel. It is the most sophisticated, hear this, it is the most sophisticated book on planet Earth. Statement of fact. And I'm going to give you just a snippet in this video. Why it's important also, because for those of you who claim they got a Quran, which I don't believe you, I'm sorry. If I'm wrong, Allahu Alam, Astaghfirullah. But that's my truth. And I tell you why I don't believe you. Because it's the natural inkling of the soul. If my little friend down the street when I was a kid got a big wheel, a brand new big wheel, and I marveled at it, then when I got one, first thing I do is go to their house, look, I got me a big wheel too. You see? It's just fun that way. You know? It's just fun. So, I can give you other examples, but like I said, don't believe you. Because, and even more so, don't believe you because of what we're dealing with. You claim you went and got the only divine book on the planet Earth and the most sophisticated book that exists in all of existence. Unless you know 50 Muslims or an imam or something where you live, then it doesn't make any sense to me that you would not reach out to me. You understand what I'm telling you? You have to work that out. And what I'm about to say next also shows why it's important that you would have reached out to me. You see? And I've been saying since 2014. And it didn't matter if you had a Quran or not. I've been saying since 2014. Anybody that ever wants to get with me and has questions, because you guys know I'm a Muslim. Anybody that ever wants to get with me and ask me questions about Islam and being a Muslim, or you want to ask me something about anything, I will move heaven and earth. I'll change my entire schedule just for you. Whenever you want, whatever, you dictate it, and I'll be there. You see? Not one has reached out. Not one since 2014. And I've had no men, lying or not. I ain't had no brothers to say, Jedi, I got a Quran. You see? Again, it's always the women outdoing us. You see? Always has been, always will be. You see? One of the many reasons why they're smarter than us, and always will be. You see? I just feel like I'm just not feeling it. You know? Whatever, just leave it, Jedi. Leave it. Right. Fine. Now, for those of you, I got me a Quran, Jedi, and I don't believe you. But here's this next piece I'm about to lay out will explain to you why you would have reached out to me. Now, I had a sister, of course, sometime back that said, Jedi, I got a Quran, I got a green one. Is that the right one? I panicked. I had to have a shot of something and an IV drip, but after I recovered, I said to her, that's fine, but, you know, as soon as you can, you want to try and get something else. That would be this. This is the Yusuf Ali translation of the Quran, usually found amongst those folks that call themselves the Nation of Islam. I'm over it. All right. Why Muslims frown on this is because the translation is among some of the least of quality. I'll be nice. The least of quality, you see? And that becomes extremely important because, first of all, you must understand that there are many words in the divine language that can't be translated to English. They can't. They can't. So obviously, knowing just that, you need to have a translation that gives you the best understanding of something, you see? That's first. Okay, so Why we frown on it is because, like I said, it's a bad translation. But we don't frown, but we don't totally besmirch it because it has what? The ancient Arabic right there, as all Qur'ans would, right? As all Qur'ans would. It has the ancient Arabic right there to the right. You see? So it doesn't matter what Yusuf says over here. It's what Allah says over here. And this has not changed in nearly 1,500 years. All right? So we frown on it, but we don't completely besmirch it. All right? I hope you could understand that point that I just laid out. Now, so if you got a Quran, allegedly, that would be one of the reasons why you would reach out to me. All right? Now, here's another one. It's not the Quran. This is an English translation of the meaning of the Quran. You see? This is an English translation of the meaning of the Quran. This is what we call tafsir. Tafsir. Tafsir is basically a dissertation. So it's going to be, let's say you just want a dissertation on one verse of a certain chapter, or you wanted tafsir or dissertation on a particular chapter, you know, or maybe you want one that covers the entire book, whatever. All right, so you want to have that in your arsenal. All right, some of them have the tafsir in it, and I'll show you that in a second. Now, this one is transliteration. So anybody new to the Quran would definitely do themselves a major favor to have this. And my cover came off. I'm over it. All right, but this is the transliteration of the Quran. Jedi, what's transliteration? All right, I'm going to tell you. Now, my full name on my birth certificate is Arabic. So when I write my first name, obviously, when I write it not in Arabic, I write it in transliteration. You see? I'll give you an example. Let me pick a name that's, I don't know. I can't think. But I'm going to show you what I mean. All right. Now, transliteration is basically how to say the Arabic. It's a written way of saying it. Like, for instance, if I say in Spanish, esperanza. So, that's the Spanish word for hope. So, esperanza. Well, how do I write that transliterally? I would write it E-S-P-E-E, because I really want to make sure I remember that's an E sound, S-B, E-S-P-E-E, and I put a line, I would probably put an arrow over it to let myself know that it's long. S-B, Espiran, Ron, R-O-N, Sa, S-A, Esperanza. That's not how you spell Esperanza, but that's how I would write it transliterally so that it would look like I'm going to say it. Now, the opening surah of the Quran is Al-Fatiha, the opening. All right? Now, there's 144 chapters of the Quran, and they all begin Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. That means in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. All right? By the way, my logo on this channel, the red with the Arabic says Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. All right? Now, oh, and by the way, quickly to y'all Christian folks, when Jesus was talking about the one who would come after him, the prophet, the messenger of truth, he will speak in the name of God. 144 chapters, they all begin in the name of God. He will speak only that which he has heard. This entire book is what the prophet heard over the course of 23 years as the angel Jibril brought it down to him in parts. He will not be presenting his own ideas. You're going to see in this video, he clearly was not presenting his own ideas. And as I've said, scholars and mathematicians and all these sorts of things have been over this book, the physical book, and were astonished at what they found about its clearly divine layout. Not presenting his own ideas. Transliteration, Jedi. So I told you everything begins Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So if I say, oh, the opening surah goes Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, I've actually been deceiving there. It's not an egregious act, but it's not correct, because they all begin Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So the actual surah, the first line of it actually begins Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, and so on. All right. Now, so transliteration is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, and so on. You see? So it's helpful because it allows you to read and say the Arabic even if you can't read it and speak it and say it. You see? Transliteration. You see? So if any of y'all folks that claim y'all got all these Qurans and stuff have been reaching out to me and we got together on a Skype session, this is one of the things I would have been eager to share with you. The door is still open. It's open till eternity. Anytime. Anytime. I don't care what I'm doing. You say, Jedi, I want to talk right now. Boom. I'll do it. Jedi, I need to talk to you in 5 minutes. I need to talk to you tomorrow. I need to talk to you next week. Whatever. Whenever you say it, so shall it be done. The door is still open. So that's transliteration. All right. Now, this is important, everybody, because when we talk about translations and transliterations, but specifically translations, because I'm talking about the miracle of the Quran in this video. Damn, I'm right out of time. And longer than I meant to be. Give a fuck. Anyway, when we're talking about translations, one of the things, for instance, just give you an idea of the miracle and why you don't get the miracle in any translation. Whether your original language is Spanish or Yiddish or German or whatever you speak on the earth, it don't matter. If you don't have the divine language, you can't get the miracle. And here's one example. One of the things I'm bringing you in the video, and I don't want to give away a lot. One of the surahs has 19 verses, but the first 5 verses have 19 words that make up those 5 verses. The sum total of the letters used in those 5 verses is also a multiple of 19, and so forth, all right? So in a translation, you would never get that, no matter what the language, because they're going to have to use more words to explain it, to translate it, and they have to use some words in place of words because there's no English equivalent for that word, etc., etc. So my message is, in English, you can get the understanding, a basic understanding of Quran, and that's all fine, and you can build on that as you go and all that kind of stuff. And with transliteration, that gets you closer, and then once you learn the Arabic, etc., etc. But certainly you will never get the miracle. The miracle. In other words, for instance, if there was only English Qurans that existed on the earth, we would never know the miracle, the physical miracle of this book. And it's not just the number 19, it's not just numbers. There's many others that will astonish you. That's why I said there's no way you can watch this video and not have something to say about it when it's finished. You just can't. Unless you've got that veil over your heart, which means you will definitely be one of the companions of the hellfire on the great day of judgment. That's a promise, everybody, and that's real, and that's from the divine, not the Jedi. You see? Oh, here's my main Quran. This is my main Quran. This is it. You see, and this one has, of course, it has the Arabic, the divine language. It's important to say that because the divine language at the time, the people were speaking Arabic, and so when Allah revealed this, He revealed it in the language that people could speak, but they realized immediately it was a superior form of the language that had never been heard. It was divine. It was, I mean, it was beautiful. It was superior, poetic even. And for many, that was it. That was enough. They were done. They were ready to follow the prophet right off the edge of the earth if they needed to. All right. So, but that one has the divine language. It also has a very good translation, and it also has tafsir as well. All right. That's my main Quran, my main one. What else, Jedi? So, this is just whetting your palate. You should know at the end of this video that clearly that thing that is known as the Bible is just that, a thing. It is just words on a page. You should also be able to deduce just on your own and just by deduction that that thing is not anything you should put your faith in. And why it kills me when people say, well, it's inspired. What? There's no message and there's definitely no miracle. There's nothing there. And you got the book of John, the book of Matthew, the book of all these people. I see all your people and I raise you. The book of the creator of everything. Done. We don't have the book of and the book of and the book of. Your maker is speaking to you in this book from beginning to end. My God. But behold its divinity as you hear the information and see what I'm bringing you in this piece. Behold. Behold. And I will expect to hear back from you. The serious, the loyal, the ones who are paying attention, who don't have the veil over their heart. You, I will hear from. And I'm eager. I'm eager. Because it's like when somebody else gets something, you want to know how it was for them. You know? So there's some of that going on. But it's also, as I said, your feedback is important because it informs me of how well I was able to communicate the information. You see? And lastly, you know, if the feedback gives me the right energy and I feel like it's worth my time, I'm absolutely happy to do a live discussion on it. You know, I'll do a live stream and we can talk about it directly, or if you guys want to do Skype, whatever you want to do, I'd love to have live discussion, but that's going to come from you. You will determine whether or not that happens. That has to come from you. This is for the living. I'll see you soon. What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. And I first think I want to say thank you to everyone who is a serious seeker of knowledge, consumer of information, who has thus far taken the time to watch my previous video, which was about the Trinity and Christianity. That's what my work is going to be, everybody. I'm not curtailing it to nobody specific and all that stuff. Like, I know what I need to communicate to the earth. You understand? I know what my purpose is on the earth at every level. And so I just have to share it and be over it. And it is to your gain to consume the things that I put out, you know, because it will enrich you both in this life and the hereafter. So, shout out to all those people. This is very serious what I'm bringing you right now. This is going to straighten your hair and turn your hair gray and make it fall out. I'm not joking about that. I'm very serious. I need you to understand that. Also, we already had one sensitive nerve Christian that came and said, "It seems like you're calling all Christians Trinitarian." Look, I sweep with a broad, hot sword. I am not for timid people and hurt feelings. I don't give a damn about your feelings. That's why you're in the rut that you're in now. It's like a child. You raise a child. Oh, don't say that. Don't whoop them. Don't do this. Don't do that. And you have a killer on your hand when they turn 16. I'm not here for that. And I understand the world in which I live, not just this nation. The world in which I live in an international frame of mind. You understand? My thinking is global. It is humanity. I'm not just thinking about my neighborhood and where I live and my street. I'm always thinking outside of myself. My thoughts go across the oceans. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So you have to take me in context, and you got to up your game so you know what book you're listening to when I'm talking. Work it out. Get into it. I don't give a damn if you're a Trinitarian or not. The fact of the matter is you're worshiping a man and you need to sat your ass down. Period. End of statement. We're not about feelings, and especially when it comes to my people. Especially not when it comes to my people. Because the times are too critical. If we're going to turn our people around, turn our hearts and our minds and our souls and our character around, you got to throw it at them. Full speed. Period. So, sat over to the left. What I'm bringing in this piece, everybody, I need you to hear this. Because this is something that I thought I would... Slow down, Jedi. This is something I thought I could ease you into later down the road. You know, I wanted to try and build a foundation of understanding first. Kind of like learning the alphabet, you know. First, let's teach you the alphabet before we try and teach you to read so you can recognize letters. It's that same idea. Hear me. It's that same idea. So sometimes when I'm thinking about, especially the work I'm doing now, when I think about the curriculum that I want to put out, I'm thinking in those terms. What should or could be the next thing you could put with that now to build on what is known? So this falls into that category, but I war with myself because it's a lot. But if you can get it, it will knock you over like a hurricane. And when we finish with this video, you will be calling that book a thing. I promise you, I swear by Allah, you will be calling that a thing because you're going to understand the true divinity, a peek at the true divinity of the Quran. Because what I need you to understand is I've shared with you, I've shown you videos, I've talked to you, and I have shared with you things that are in the Quran that prove its divinity. I've broken down for you embryology that wasn't known in the 6th century, but there it is described in detail in the Quran. The embryo is being described inside and out, and it is a microscopic thing that cannot be seen with the naked eye. And there it is in a book that was revealed in the 6th century. That would stop me, that would have me stop my car in traffic, that alone. I've brought you how the Quran talks about I showed you in the video where the Quran, where Allah is saying to mankind that He has established a barrier between the seas, that they do not transgress by his will. And I've shown you actual YouTube video where the fresh water and the salt water come together. There's clearly a line. There's a damn big ass ship sailing all over it and everything, and they do not mix. This is known in a book revealed to mankind in the 6th century. Stay with me. I'm not going to rehash everything that I've brought, because that I could just do another video, and I've already done that. I'm just trying to give you some little, speckles to say, oh, so you can recall, oh, yeah, I do remember that, Jedi. I remember, To those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, this is why you have to watch my body of work, because it's an ongoing teaching. Now, what I need you to understand, and what I'm really trying to highlight in just a little bit of information I'm going to give you in this video, it's not just the information that's in the book, everybody. And I've illustrated, and will illustrate more in the future, that there are things in the Quran that should blow you off the damn earth. But here's what I'm bringing you in this piece. I need you to understand that the actual physical book is a miracle. A miracle on its own, do you understand? That has stumped and puzzled and astonished some of the greatest mathematicians known to humanity. Just the mathematics of the Quran will astonish you. But more than that, they will prove to you that once again, indeed, this kitab must be from the creator of the heavens and the earth. Now, I don't want to overload your atoms and your neurons, and, I'm going to give you just a taste. But I need you to see this as one of them really fine shishi poo-poo restaurants that you go into, and you order something, it's like $150, and you think you're going to get like a big spread that you're going to have to need a to-go bag and everything like that, and they bring like this little saucer. You'd be like, what the hell? It's like a grape with a leaf on it and like some sauce. Like, bitch, if you bring some food to this table, if you don't bring some goddamn food to this table, it's gonna be a problem. You know what I'm saying? You need to you want a manager and everything. But whatever that is on the plate is supposed to be the highest quality, and then indeed when you taste it, you be like, that is the bomb, but why you still giving me this, like, this little dollop of it, and you still ready to fight the heifer that brought it to the table? Now, this is that. I'm just gonna give you a dollop of some of the highest quality knowledge known to humanity, because it only comes from the divine. Are you with me? Do you understand what I've said to you? And I've chosen this because I've said my whole life, since I turned 19, I've always said 19 is my favorite age. I'm always going to be 19. Like, I'm just always going to be 19. I'm 19. I am. And I'll fight somebody if they say I'm not 19. Like, it was just something that just never left my soul. I don't know what it is, y'all. But something about being 19 was just, it's my favorite age. I loved being 19, and I don't even know why. I just loved it. I don't know, dude. But anyway, what I'm going to share with you now, I didn't know at age 19. Because one thing about Islam, and certainly the revelation from Allah, it is a lifetime proposition, everybody. It's a lifetime proposition because Allah has revealed everything to us. There is an answer for everything. There is a sign in everything. So let me put that in context for you. How long do you think it would take you to study a bee? A honeybee? Yeah, but wait now. First, you got to study just their wings. That's it. And fully understand just the wings. Now, you got to study the fur, the little hair that's on them. But you also have to study how the color is what it is. And the texture. We haven't gotten to the legs yet. We haven't gotten to how they produce honey and how they build the honeycomb. And you see what I'm saying? You'd be like, damn, can't I just name and cite that that's a bee and move to something else? No. So I use the honeybee to say, think about what it would take you just to learn that. And then you got to study the honeycomb. How long would that take you? Now, you have to study the tree that honeycomb, that beehive is built in. You have to study that. You have to study all the habits of the bees too as well. Like, you're going to be at this for a minute. Like, shut off phones and disassociate from everybody that you know on the planet, because you're not coming back. And this is just the bees. Then you got to study the tree and the soil under the tree. You see, the bark, the leaves, how many years has this tree been alive, and how long does this type of tree live, etc., etc. Then the leaves, and what does it do, and oh my God. I'm trying to give you a microcosm visual of the world we live in. So Allah has given you the answer to the bees and the ants and the trees and the cats and the dogs and all the micro things that I just described, like about the bee. So you have all the micro shit on everything that I'm naming, right? Then the sand on the beach, the oceans, every species that's in it, swimming and non-swimming, vegetation and non-vegetation. You understand the habits of the currents of the ocean. Then you have to study all the solar systems and all the planets. And you feel what I'm saying? What I'm trying to tell you is that Allah has given us the answer for all of this. Everything. I've told you a million times. Anything you want to know, Allah has given you, has told you about everything that you are and what everything is from night to day and from birth to death. And this little dollop, there's that word again, that I'm going to give you now should help you understand just a tiny, 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 tiny fraction of how complex this book is laid out and why there is only one. So you got your 354 versions of the Bible. Well, you can take that to the swap meet and use it for toilet paper. I'm over it. Because you will see, if I do my work right, you will go, oh, wow, I see why they wash their hands before they read this book. I see why it would be placed at the highest place in their home and kept in towels or plastic, and no one else can touch it that's not Muslim or that's not clean or whatever. Hear this now. There is a surah of the Quran. I won't bore you with names of surahs because you don't speak Arabic and you don't know the Quran. We'll get in that down the road. The 74th surah of the Quran, verse 30, simply says, Alayha tisata asha. That's it. That's the verse. You just read the whole verse. Verse 30 of the 74th surah of the Quran. You're done. You can go home now. What does that say? Right there, random in the middle of everything, because remember, the Quran comes down over the course of 23 years. So it's not in order of its revelation. Like when you open the first page, it opens with Fatiha. But indeed, the first revelation that the Prophet received excuse me, was Surah number 96, which is known as Allah. And when I did my eloquent videos in the past about embryology, we know that the Allah is the clot. That's what the name of that surah is. Al-Allah, the clot. It's the first thing that the angel gave to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But we'll come back to 96. We're going to stay on 74 for right now. Verse 30. Because what that translates to, Alayha Tisata Asha. What that translates to is, over this is 19. Over this is 19. Now remember, this is not that piece of junk you call a Bible. This is a divine book. Divine, from Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth, you and me and everything that we know and don't know and can't know. Stay with me. There's a valuable experience in this video for you. I promise you. The Jedi does not lie. Over this is 19. Just this that I'm going to lay out in this video also will prove to you that this book is not written by a human being. Not written by a human being. Alright? Now, let us begin. Over this is 19. Surah 74, verse 30. That's all it says. Alayha Tisata Asha. Over this is 19. Alright, I'm going to try and spare you a lot of Arabic, but some of it is necessary. Now, first thing you must know, and I'll build as we go, just to make it more dramatic for you. There are 114 surahs that make up this holy kitab, the Quran. The kitab Allah, the book of Allah. 114 surahs in the Quran. Here's your first one. 114 is a multiple of 19. 6 times 19 is 114. And for all of you out there who got A+ and outstanding in math, which I hate you, when you were in school, you know, as a basic principle, that the number 19 is a very difficult number to work with. First of all, it's an odd number. So we're not dealing with 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 and all that. This is number 19, homie. 19. I need you to keep that in mind as we go through this. So that's your first one. The word Allah. Allah saying his own name in the Quran appears 2,698 times. That is 19 times 142. Stay with me. One of the attributes of Allah, Ar-Rahman, the gracious, appears 57 times in the entire book. 3 times 19 is 57. One of the other attributes of Allah, Ar-Rahim, the merciful, appears 114 times. 6 times, 6 times 19 is 114. All right? So 114 times Allah says, is remind you, He is merciful. And so even right there, when we think about Allah saying to man that this Quran has been sent as a mercy to you, that this word Ar-Rahman would be used 114 times, and that is the exact amount of chapters in this Quran. Think about that. The whole book is a mercy. 114 chapters, mercy 114 times. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Now, the word Quran, the book we're talking about, appears 58 times. Wait, Jedi, that number won't work. Wait, this is where divinity comes in even stronger. Now, the word Quran appears 58 times, but one doesn't count. Because you see, when Allah speaks, He's speaking purposefully and directly. Stay with me, everybody. So when he's talking about the book, He's talking about the book. But when He, in one of the surahs where He's challenging mankind to say that you would never be able to produce a Quran like this, that Quran doesn't count. Because in His divinity, it is now, that Quran is less than when He's representing His revelation. Are you with me? So when He's describing the one you would write, obviously that would not be a Quran, because He's telling you in that ayah that you won't be able to produce a Quran. So that Quran doesn't count. So we're left with 57. Are you with me? I'm trying to show you how the Creator communicates in this book, so that you can understand that Matthew, Paul, John, and Luke shit ain't got nothing going on. This is divinity. Now, so that one doesn't count. So you're left with 57 times that Allah mentions the word Quran. 3 times 19, 57. When Allah is speaking about His kitab, those count. When He's giving you and telling you that you will never be able to produce one like it, that Quran, that word does not count as the same as the other ones when He uses it. Are you with me? This is why I say to my people, when you've heard me say so boldly, you don't know the divine. You don't know Him. This is one of the places that's coming from, this knowledge. And there's so much more. I'm trying to give you just a dollop. Just a dollop. And it's not of Daisy, goddammit. I said it. Now, Surah 9 of the Quran. Now, all 114 chapters of the Quran begin Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So, the Prophet, this is a revelation from Allah. So you never say anything of the Quran unless you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of God, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Or the most gracious, most merciful. Either one of those can be used, right? And here is the punchline on that. There are 19 letters in Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. 19 letters in that phrase. But Surah 9 has no Bismillah. No Bismillah on Surah 9. But just a second, Jedi. Because guess what? When you get down to Surah 27, there are 2 Bismillahs. You see? Allah expects you to seek these things out, everybody.
This is what you're supposed to be doing when you say that you study the Word of God and all that stuff, and you know the Lord and you know His Word. This is the type of stuff you're supposed to be studying, because everything that Allah does, every single thing, is for a reason, has a purpose and a meaning. I need you to let that sink in for a couple seconds. Now, so Surah 27 has 2 Bismillahs. But now, to show that Allah has a relationship between Surah 27 and Surah 9, remember, Surah 9 has no Bismillah. Surah 27 has 2. Guess how many surahs are from Surah 9 to 27? 19. Are you with me? So there's a relationship between those two, because Allah is saying to you, yeah, there was no Bismillah there, but go 19 down and here's 2 of them. You see what I'm saying? This is not coincidence. This is the divine. I'm trying to help you understand that it's more than just what's in the book and its revelation and all that. I'm trying to show, the book itself is a miracle. And this is just a snippet. I got other stuff that will send you into traffic, pulling your hair out one strand at a time. Now, let us go on. And remember, Alayha Tisata Asha. Over it is 19. Now, so I told you that from Surah 9 to 27 is 19 surahs. But guess what? If you start at Surah 9 and add number 9 to number 10 to number 11, like literally add the numbers, you get 342. Another multiple of 19. 19 times 18 is 342, everybody. Who's writing this without a damn computer? And several laureates from Yale and all that. Come on. So not only 19 surahs between 9 and 27, but if you add up the numbers like 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 13 plus 14, all the way to 27, you get 342. And that's 19 times 18, another multiple of 19. Wait, don't pull your hair out yet. Now, we talked about Surah 9 not having a Bismillah, and how Surah 27 has 2, and we did the numbers and and everything's 19. But now, let's go to Surah 27, because that's the one that has the the 2 Bismillah Rahman Rahims. And it appears in verse 30 of Surah 27. When you add 30 and 27, you get 57, my people, which is 3 times 19. This is not a coincidence. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Wow. The first surah ever revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, which is why I also laid out for you that the book is not in order from cover to cover of the way it was sent down, because the first surah of the Quran is Al-Fatiha, the opening. But indeed, the first surah ever sent, the first revelation ever given to the Prophet Muhammad was surah number 96, which I told you was the alaq, the clot. It's the first surah sent down. All right. And later down the road in our curriculum, I will share with you those revelations. Like, I will recite them in the language of its revelation and give you the translation and all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted you to understand the miracle right now of just how it's physically laid out. And this is just one little thing I'm showing you. There's so much other stuff when I get into later down the road, when you see how many times the word hell is used, but next to the number of times that paradise is used, and love and hate. Oh my God, I'm telling you, you pull your hair out, you turn gray, because you can't believe it. You're in shock. The physical book itself is a miracle. Let me give you a little bit more. So, verse 90 or Surah 96 is the very first thing that Allah sent down to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Guess how many verses are in that first revelation? 19. So the very first thing Allah says to the Prophet, He says it in 19 verses. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. But wait. The first 5 verses of that 19 has 19 words. The first 5 verses of that 19 verses has 19 words, everybody. This is the first revelation sent to the Prophet Muhammad. How many times do Muslims pray a day? 5. We'll get to that down the road, which that's something else. That's going to be another movie. But those first 5 verses have 19 words. And those 19 words comprise of 76 letters. This is just in the first 5 verses. Again, the first 5 verses have 19 words and a total of 76 letters, which is 19 times 14. 19 times 4. 4 times 19 is 76. It's just the first 5 verses. And remember, there's 19 verses in this chapter. 19 verses. If you add up the letters of the entire chapter, the entire 19 verses, you get 285 letters. That's 19 times 15, everybody. 19 times 15 is 285. Do you see where this is not a coincidence? How many times have I preached to you in my work? I said when something becomes a pattern, it's no longer a coincidence. It's on purpose. You've heard me rant that. You've heard me rant about that because I was usually talking about police brutality and other injustice and all the crap. So this is deliberate. This is deliberate. You see? Wow. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down in this video, because this should cause you to stop all the madness. Stop. And begin to use your head for more than a hat rack. And then, on top of that, and I'll repeat this, but this surah, number 96, this chapter, that has 19 verses, is 19 chapters from the end of the Quran. Exactly. Use your head, everybody. But more than that, listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. I just finished laying out for you the first surah or chapter ever sent down from Allah to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I showed you all the parameters of 19 and the miracle that is there. Here's where you need to sit down, everybody. Just have a seat. Here's the crescendo. Allahu Akbar. Wow. I've been saying his name the entire time. You've heard me say it in videos. You've heard me say it a million times. This book was sent down to Muhammad ibn Abdullah. There's 19 letters in Muhammad ibn Abdullah. My God. Wow. Aleha Tesata Ashar. Aleha Tesata Ashar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Wow. I'm okay. I'm okay. Allahu Akbar. When I tell you Muslims know our book, I mean we know our book. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Hopefully through this you see the insult that is this thing called the Bible. Now, from the first surah that the Prophet was ever given, which is Surah 96, to the last surah, which is number 114, because there's 114 surahs of the Quran, or chapters. From 96 to 114 is 19 surahs, everybody. Do you understand this? 19 surahs. Now, as we understand it in Islam, when a woman is pregnant, it's 38 weeks. If it's 37, it's a pre. They have a term for it. I can't remember. If it's 37 weeks, 38 you're good. Some women carry longer. They can go to 40 weeks. All right, but 38 weeks is what the Muslim understands. 2 times 19 is 38. And remember, Allah created you from a clot, the alaqa. So it's appropriate to understand the term when we mention that. So now I'm telling you 38 weeks is 2 times 19, another multiple of 19. I should also point out that that's a total of 266 days. 14 times 19 is 266, another multiple of 19. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Allah is showing you in His creation and in His kitab So now, every 19 years, Allah has designed it so the solar system realigns itself. Every 19 years. Again, Aleha Tesata Ashar. Aleha Tesata Ashar. Over it is 19. So every 19 years, the solar system realigns. Now, the Muslim prays 5 times a day. Right? Our first prayer of the day is known as Fajr. There are 2 rakats. For you guys that have been paying attention, I've shown you what a unit of prayer is. A unit of prayer is the takbir. Then you have your right hand over your left and you are reciting Quran. Then you bend over to your knees into ruku and Subhana Rabbi Azim. And then you come back up standing up. And then it's Sami Allahu liman hamida, Rabbana lakal hamd. You go all the way down to the floor with your nose and your forehead on the ground, prostrating. And then after you do that, then you sit back on your heels. That is 1 unit of prayer, 1 rakat. When you stand back up and start again with another takbir, you're starting another unit of prayer or another rakat. Now, our first prayer of the day has 2 rakats. That's before the sun comes up. That is known as Fajr. 2 units of prayer. The next prayer of the day is known as Zuhur. That's the, noon prayer, just to help you. It's not at noon, because again it's according to the sun and all those things, but for a layman, we just say, well, that's our noon prayer, just I'm over you. Anyways, that's 4 units of prayer, 4 rakats. The next prayer of the day is known as Asr. That also is 4 units of prayer, 4 rakats. The next prayer is Maghrib. That is the late afternoon prayer, sun just going down. 3 units of prayer, 3 rakats. The last and final prayer, the 5th prayer of the day, is known as Isha. Isha. And that's 4 rakats. That's 17 units of prayer between all of those. But wait, you need to know the following. It is proper for Muslims to make prayer in the mosque. And when you enter the mosque and you go into the musalla, which is the main area for y'all, it would be the, what y'all call that? Sanctuary. Yeah. Nothing sanctimonious about it, but we're dead. Settle down. Anyways, when you go into the musalla to make prayer, you make 2 rakats for the mosque. There's your 19, everybody. There's your 19. Your Creator is perfect. And everything that He creates is perfect. So anything He's going to communicate to you is divine and perfect. I'm trying to help you understand that even the very book, the way it's laid out, will make you faint. Now, Allah has said to mankind that if the whole of mankind and the jinn, y'all that stay up on my work, you know who the jinn are. That's the civilization of people that Allah created before He created mankind. Allah is always referring to the jinn in the Quran. But Allah has said to mankind, if the whole of mankind and the jinn came together to write a book like the Quran, they could not do it. This is just a dollop, everybody. A dollop. A dollop. This is before you even get to the actual information that's on the pages. The revelation itself. This is the book that makes all things clear. This is the book that is from the one that breathed life into you and gave you an appointed time on the earth. This is it. This is it. You will not find any of this in this thing called the Bible. Won't find it. Won't find it. I don't want to overwhelm you and overload you. I wanted to just bring you just that even, so that down the road there will be more things like this that I'm going to have to share with you, because I need you to really understand what you're dealing with. So when people talk about the Quran, well, they took that from the Bible and it's just the same thing. And no, and sat your ass down. You have one book that is divine, literally, and one that is not. And one that is not. Do you understand me? I hope this video has caused you to pause and to contemplate and consider, the very book itself. And later I will get into helping you to understand how, the very heart in your chest, your heart is always just to the left. Well, the divine language goes from left to right. From the left to the right. Strike that. We write from right to left. We write from right to left. Not the other way around. My bad. When you see us circling around the Kaaba in Mecca, our left side is to the building as we go around it. Do you understand? I'm going to be helping you understand how the Quran is saying to you that it's not just your brain that you think with. You could take your head off your shoulders and your heart is still able to think, everybody. And we can back this up with science. Now in this century, from a book revealed in the 6th century to a man who could not read or write. Do you understand me? Get interested in the truth, everybody. And as I said in my previous video, stop playing the little, 3-year-old game and the little Disney circus. You need to be over that. You need to be over that. And I've said 1 billion times, and I don't ever hear anybody asking me no questions. I've said I'm available anytime. I'll move heaven and earth. I'll stop my entire schedule. Anytime you want to get on Skype and talk about Islam, I'll answer any question you want. Anything you want to know about anything. Not one has stepped forward. Not one. So that's fine. That's fine and not surprising. You see? Because for many of you, it doesn't matter what proof is given to you. Even Allah himself could reveal himself from behind the veil of light today, and you would still have some bullshit to say. Your destiny is the hellfire already. You need to give it up. You will not be going to paradise, I can already tell you. Not because I say so, but because the creator of the heavens and the earth has already said it. From this divine kitab, this book. The very book is divine. You understand? The book itself is divine. Before you even get to start reading it. I will also astonish you with the mathematical layout of the Quran. It's so complex and so intricate that when you understand it, I don't know what you'll do. But at the very least, you will have to type, "This is definitely not the Bible." You could actually type that on this damn video. If you feel as such. If you were touched by the information, just this little dollop, that I brought in this piece, if this did anything for you, I'd like to know about it. I'd like to know about it. So, in closing, I want to say the following. It is evident that to use this number specifically, because as I said earlier, if it was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, one could see where, well, that's easy we could come up with multiples off our head. But 19, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. And I'll tell you, my own personal moment of I need a glass of water whenever I learned this. Like everything was already killing me. It was just killing me dead. But when I began to understand that the very first revelation sent down to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how that was so riddled with 19, Listen, if you go to Vegas, everybody, hear this, for all y'all non-holy folks that still gamble and play lottery and go to Vegas and do it all. If you went into Vegas, I don't care if you're playing craps or blackjack or it don't matter what you're doing. If you keep hitting, pretty soon security is going to be coming. Hi, we just wanted to come over and check on you today. And, because there's probabilities, there's odds. But the law of probability, everybody, the law of probability is reasonable and consistent. Hear that again. The law of probability is reasonable and consistent. What that means is there's a certain ratio of win and there's a certain ratio of not win. And if you just winning, every time you roll the dice, oh craps, I win. And think about it. Even if you're one of them street people that do the shells or whatever, and every time they win, or if somebody said, they had a quarter and they said, pick heads or tails, and every time they flipped it, it was heads. Like every time, you'd be like, they have rigged that quarter somehow. Be honest, y'all. Y'all know, especially black folks. We'd be like, they done rigged it, because your inner voice says that can't be possible. Consistently like that. That can't. It's something they doing. Even if we don't understand it, we know it's something. It's a problem. It's a problem. So allow your common sense to be in place and healthy here. And let yourself be moved as you should be by this information. You see, only the divine. It's one thing to put something on paper or in this case it was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad orally. You see. And we'll get into later videos. People will have questions. Well, how did the Quran become written down, and how did it? We'll get to that. All right, stay on this right now. All right. So it's one thing for Allah to reveal. And what I will say about what I just said, even though we're not getting to that now, you need to understand that at the time that that the Prophet Muhammad would recite it to his companions to write it down, and then the angel Jibril would come every year to review, to make sure that every single word was correct. And Jibril is Allah's mightiest angel. Mightiest. And loyal and thorough. So, at the time that they put this down, the hand of Allah was guiding them. Everything that I've shared with you in this video, I don't know if the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam or the people of his time even knew this. I don't know the answer to that. Currently, my guess would be they didn't know, because most of what's in the Quran, it is a living document, still proving itself. Revelations are still coming true, prophecies, signs, information that they simply weren't going to be on earth to see that. Goes back to the embryo. There's no way they knew what an embryo was, because it's microscopic, can't be seen with the human eye. You've got to have a telescope, a microscope, high-powered microscope at that, in order to see the embryo. So they had to just believe. They had to just believe. But here we are now, with all of our sophistication and know-it-all. Because this book is going to prove itself to the end of time. To the end of time. This is the work of Allah. And I want to make that distinction between word and work. Because clearly this is the word of Allah. Clearly. But I want to use the word work here too, because in this video, what I'm clearly showing you is the work of, the work of Allah. And as I said, this is just a dollop. I'll be bringing you other things in the future that will be just as, if not more astonishing than this, that should to the common sense man and woman prove to them clearly this book is from the creator of the heavens and the earth. I want to hear from you, because when I communicate, I am communicating in a vacuum, so to speak. You know, I can't read your minds. And so you should give me the honor of communicating to me your reaction to this information. And indeed, my presentation, because it's only through your feedback that I'm able to perfect, augment, whatever I need to do to be more effective in communicating to you. But if you don't communicate back to me, then I think I'm doing everything perfect and that I'm without error. So I'm absolutely interested to hear your reaction and your feedback. No one watching this video should not have something to say about it. Don't disappoint me. I'll see you soon.